While I was in hospital, like the medications they were giving me, I was, you know, I couldn't eat. I had no appetite whatsoever. I think the only thing I ate was a beef broth. That was actually the only thing I consumed while I was in hospital. I gave the rest to Mum because Mum stayed with me every day while I was in there. Morning, during the day, at night, she did not leave my side at all. She slept on that really uncomfortable, like, awkward hospital couch in the corner of the room. The nurses would always say, they'd always be like, we love coming into your room because it looks like we're in the maternity ward, because there was just so much colour and there was flowers everywhere and balloons, and I had this little throw on my bed which was like pink and had fairies on it that Mum made me when I was younger. And the amount of support I had was unbelievable. Like, I never knew I had so many people that cared about me and loved me. Like, it was amazing, and I stayed positive throughout it all. I was like, I'm gonna get through this, I'll be fine, and I'll be doing what I love doing again soon. I've just got to take baby steps, one step at a time, and I'll do it. I was like, Amy, you're stronger than this. Like, I mean, really, I didn't think I was so strong. I really didn't. And my surgeon was Dr. Gordon Dandy. Favorite name, Dandy. As soon as I heard Dandy, I was like, yes! What a good name. This is so good. I'm gonna be okay. And he was just a legend. He basically, like, he came in and talked us through what was going to happen, and we set a date for the surgery. And yeah, he did one incredible job. Absolutely amazing. The morning of the surgery, I had it was 6 or 7 a.m. time slot. I was the first of the day, and I honestly did not get an ounce of sleep that night. I didn't sleep at all. I was literally just lying in bed, tossing and turning, thinking about the world and everything I had achieved, my friends, my family, and what life would still have in store for me once I got through it. I just remember the nurses coming in and just saying, like, okay, we're gonna have to go soon, and I just had to get changed into my dressing gown. And I just remember being wheeled down to the, I guess, like, the surgery waiting room. I just remember being wheeled down there with my mum and my dad, and just holding onto their hands. And I stopped and we got there, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna have to get you to sign something and we'll start soon. And I was just lying there, I've never held someone's hand so tight before. I was so scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. And just looking at my mum and my dad, they both had such brave faces on, but I knew inside they would be even more scared than I was. Then my surgeon came in and I basically had to sign a waiver in case something did go wrong while I was on the operating table. And the nurses gave me a certificate of bravery. And this is it. It had a little teddy bear on it. And it says, Certificate of Bravery. This is to certify Amy Pekovich was brave when she had an operation at the Sydney Adventist Hospital. I still haven't. And after that I said bye to my mum and my dad, and I just hated being wheeled away from them. I just gave them a big hug and I just said, I don't even know what I said. They just kept saying it'll be okay. We'll see you soon, it'll be okay. And I just remember being wheeled off, sobbing. That is really when it hit me, that I may not ever see them again. And it was horrible saying goodbye to my parents, and I just remember lying there and the anaesthetist came in and he was like, "You're gonna be okay, we'll give you something to calm you down." And I just remember lying there and I just felt so relaxed. After they gave me whatever it was, I was just like on a cloud. I was just so loopy. Apparently I just wouldn't stop talking about giraffes and weird things. And then I was wheeled into the operating room and I just remember like lying there looking up, just all the bright lights everywhere. And then they came over and gave me a mask. And while they were handing it to me, I was just lying there thinking, they're about to drill into my skull. It's kind of cool. Like, how do you do that? And then I was just out. That's the last thing I remember. I was just out like a light. Just gone. I just remember waking up and being in a stupid amount of pain. Like, oh my god. Oh, just thinking about it makes me feel ill. I just remember my head was kind of like, it was on the pillow and it was like slightly tilted because I had a shot down the back of my head to just keep draining all the fluids. And I just remember lying there and I was like, okay Amy, you can't move, but just, I kind of wiggled my toes and I was like, okay, I can still move my toes, that's okay. And I just squeezed my hands and I was like, I can still feel my hands still feel like they're moving. It's a good sign Amy. And I just remember lying there and I can't even remember who was there. I know my mum was there all the time. I remember people coming in and out, but I never remember seeing their faces. I was just lying there, like, I was lying in the same position for about 2 days. I couldn't move, I could barely speak. If someone made me laugh, it would hurt. The nurse is coming in one day and I'm like, Amy, this is probably a day after the surgery. They're like, we're gonna try and stand you up because the quicker you get up and moving, the faster your recovery will be. I just remember that, like, I had 2 people either side of me helping me up. Like, someone was supporting my neck and someone was holding my arm, someone was supporting my back, trying to help me sit up. And I couldn't even get to 90 degrees and it's honestly just felt like I'd run a marathon. I was so out of breath. I felt like I was going to vomit. Like, it was literally, you know when you do those really, 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 really hard sessions and you just can't help but vomit because you just feel so sick? That's how I felt sitting up at 90 degrees in the hospital bed. It's honestly really hard trying to recall everything that happened because I can't remember it all. It's all just everywhere. I would have people coming in all the time visiting me, trying to cheer me up. And I think one time I just felt so ill and people kept coming over and I just pretended to be asleep. because I just felt so bad that I wasn't going to be able to talk or do anything, so I just laid there pretending to be asleep so I could just have some peace and quiet to myself. But still, like, the amount of people that came in and my family that visited me all the time was just unbelievable. I think it was about 4 days after surgery I was able to sit up. I sat up and I put my legs over the side of the bed, and I felt so proud that I got that far. But then I was like, no guys, I need to lie down, I'm gonna vomit. I felt so ill, and they laid me back down, and I was like, oh, it felt so good to lie back down. And then eventually the next day they're like, Amy, we're getting you out of bed. Literally every time the physio would come around, I would dread it. I was like, I do not want to get out of bed. And they're like, the sooner you get up and moving, the sooner you can get out of here. And I guess that gave me motivation to actually get out of bed, even though I felt like I was going to vomit. The first time I actually got out of bed, I had a little walking frame. They helped me sit up, put my legs over the side of the bed, and like, mind you, I had lost about 10 kilos while I was in hospital. I was down to just skin and bone. There was nothing on me. Like, I had no muscle definition whatsoever. I was so weak, and I had to have someone, I had to hold onto the walking frame and have someone hold me from behind to make sure I didn't fall over. And I think my first walk I made it to the door, and then I was like, no, I want to go back, I'm tired. So then they took me back to my bed, and then I stayed there and continued to drink my beef broth because I still had no appetite. And then eventually I was going for walks up and down the hallway, and I remember the nurses were all so happy for me. They're like, she's finally up and walking. And it was just so nice to get up and walk. And my surgeon came in and told us that it was a benign tumour, which is very, very, very lucky. So it wasn't cancerous. It was basically just the tumour, and that was it. It hadn't spread, it wasn't aggressive, it was slow growing, so they think it was growing for about 10 years before we actually had it removed. We're going to discharge you now, and I was over the moon. I was so excited to just get out of that place. And I just remember walking out the front doors and just thinking to myself, it's done. Amy, it's done. And I walked onto the grass, and just the grass between my toes was sensational. It was almost like I'd never felt grass before. I just had so much appreciation for the little things, just the grass and the smell of fresh air and the sound of the birds. I really appreciate the little things in life now, because there's so many things you take for granted, and after going through what I went through, it's quite a reality check. I just want to be the best person I can within myself. I just think life is precious, and you've only got one life. You need to do everything you've dreamt of doing. Just don't hold back. I'll do another video on my recovery and how it was recovering from the surgery, and also like where I'm at now, what I'm doing. Sorry for getting so emotional. I don't think I've ever been so emotional talking about it. I just thought it was time for me to share my story firsthand rather than reading it through a website or a blog or in the newspapers or anything. So keep your eyes peeled for my next video, and thanks again.